welcome back to another episode of RV Life. What are you eating a week? Brought to you by the Danae Collective. Hi, I'm Danae, and this is episode 46. Well, hi everyone. Happy Sunday to you. How has your week been? I know that this week in particular, I have been procrastinating so hard. I don't even know why, but the disassociating and the procrastination has hit very heavy this week. So the amount of cooking that I did was pretty minimal. And what I did make was something I could just kind of throw together kind of last minute, or I picked something up like this from one of the deli shops that's nearby that I quite like. I got a poke bowl after one of my gym trips. I can honestly say that the most meal prep that I did was basically boiling 7 eggs so that I could just grab and go. I stopped at the beach and enjoyed the weather because it was for once not pouring rain or looking horrible or not crazy hot either. Now, when I say that I was procrastinating really hard, I mean really hard. I was supposed to obviously edit my film so that I could have a video ready for, this Sunday, and I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. I did that thing where I'm like, I'll work on it tomorrow. I'll work on it when I get home from work. I'm off on Saturday. I'll do it Saturday. And I just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And I already had the film ready. I had it downloaded onto my computer. It doesn't really take that long to actually do it. I just really didn't want to have to work on it. Instead, I either ended up doom scrolling on my phone in my bed for far too long on my days off, or I slept in before I had to go to work, so I just didn't get up and give myself enough time to do anything. And it was a struggle, okay? Now, I don't know if anyone else goes through this. I don't know if it's my ADHD, I don't know if it's procrastination or what, but there will be this moment where I'm hungry, but I really don't feel like moving. And I know that if I get up, I gotta either put a bunch of things away, I've gotta clean something, I've gotta do a bunch of other stuff before I can make myself something to eat. So this is a prime example of this, right? I was either playing video games on my Switch or doing a whole bunch of nonsense on my phone, and I was just I'm hungry and it's getting late. I should really make myself something to eat. I should probably get up. I should probably get up, right? Now, I think this was after a work day, in which case I would have come home and I would have crawled into bed and would have been like, you know what, I'm just going to take a nap because I'm off tomorrow. There's no reason for me to get up early, so I think I'm just going to take a nap. And then that nap became far too long, and I woke up at 8:30, and proceeded to fiddle around on my phone and or my Switch until finally I was like, you know what? You've been thinking about making a cucumber sandwich for ages, and you should probably get up and do that, because if you continue to be hungry, you're going to be awake all night, and we don't want that. That's happened before, because I wouldn't just get up and put something in my stomach, so, And then I finally get up, I go to make this cucumber sandwich, and I look at my fridge and I went, oh crap, I forgot I had defrosted a chicken breast. How long has this been in here? Oh, I should probably cook that. Well, I guess now it's going to be a chicken sandwich. So here becomes the introduction to the insomnia chicken sandwich, which was mainly because I knew I would not be able to sleep if I didn't eat something, because it's happened to me before. And I just needed to make this chicken sandwich. I had been craving a cucumber sandwich for ages, and I didn't really want the chicken, but it was actually a really nice touch. You will see as it gets further in that I did not think through how to put this sandwich together. It starts off beautiful, everything's got gorgeous layers, and then you go to put the two halves together, and everything on the half that you had to lift up and turn over just went to shit. Everything just went to shit, okay? So I was a little disappointed by that because I feel like the cross cut would have looked so much nicer, and you know, the sandwich would have been more consistent had all of my tomato and radish not fallen off. In hindsight, I don't have big tomatoes. I had cherry tomatoes on hand, and I should have cut them differently so that maybe they would have stayed on the sandwich. But you know what? It is what it is. Hindsight's 2020. Was the sandwich still delicious? Delicious? Jesus. Was the sandwich still delicious? Yes, it was. I was quite happy with it. I just, you know, we'll try this recipe again in the future. It's fine. Now, after I end up eating my sandwich, I'm sure I'm awake for at least another like 3.5 hours before I finally go to sleep. So I slept in, and then I procrastinated in bed for who knows how much longer after that. And I got up, and even though I knew I was hungry, I was like, you know, I need to clean. I want a deep clean. So instead, I hyper fixated on that. In this case, I had to clean off my counters from all the dishes that had been drying. I did the floor. I declogged the drains. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if it's in all RVs, but in this RV, definitely, the piping is plastic or some kind of plastic. I remember my brother telling me that. And according to him and the details that they told him when he bought it, you can't use bleach in the drain. So I don't use bleach. I don't use liquid bleach products in the RV. I have the Clorox cleaning wipes for when I need something that has bleach on it, but I don't physically have like a jug of bleach in the RV because I don't want to mess up and pour it down the drain. So the only bleach that I do have is in my brother's laundry room for when I'm doing laundry, right? Therefore, on cleaning day, I have to use baking soda and a mixture of hot water and vinegar. And I like to add citrus peels because I keep the citrus peels specifically for that, or sometimes to put in tea. Well, maybe not anymore because the citrus peels that I have right now are literally soaking in vinegar and water for this exact purpose. But I heat up water, I add my citrus peel to it, I add vinegar to it, and then I put a good bit of baking soda into the drains, just to cover the whole hole. And then I pour the hot vinegar mixture over that, so not only does the sink start to smell like citrus, but it also helps to declog any food that might have gotten in there from the kitchen, or any hair that might have gotten all glommed up in the sink or in the shower. So I try to do that on, I don't want to say a weekly basis because I might be giving myself a little bit too much credit there, but like on a bi-monthly basis. Yeah, like every 2 weeks I try to do that. Or whenever I notice that the drains are starting to get a little clogged up, or I feel like too much food has gone down it. The major inconvenience, though, of doing this whole process is that I have noticed, maybe I have too many things plugged in, maybe my kettle is, maybe it requires a little bit too much power, I don't know. But I have noticed lately that I can't use the higher settings on my kettle because it will trip the system and then everything shuts off. Now, I've also noticed that this doesn't happen quite as much if, like, say the TV is off, but I have this bad habit of not remembering that I can't use everything that I want to use when I want to use it. So if I'm making myself a hot kettle of tea, I can't also put something in the microwave and heat that up because all of a sudden everything shuts off. So I could turn off the AC and then run the microwave and the kettle. That's fun, so I get to sweat during that process. Or I can turn off the TV, leave the, oh God, here's where everything falls apart. Leave the AC on and then just run the kettle at a lower temperature, and then I'm able to get that done. But it's just, it's it's such a pain in the tuchus. So at some point you will see when I get to the cleaning part that the whole the whole system just goes dark. And I've tried to film when this happens at nighttime, but I don't know if maybe like the battery on my camera dies or because it's already dark, you can't see anything. But for once, this actually happened during a time where I was filming during the day, so you can see the lights shut off, you can hear everything shut off, and you can still see because there's sunlight streaming through the windows. So I then have to get on the floor and open up the electric panel and then reset the two top toggles, which off the top of my head can't remember what they're called, but I have to flick those two switches at the same time and then everything comes back on. And then I'm back to square one where I'm like, oh yeah, don't turn the TV back on, Danae, just do the kettle and get the kettle done with, and then you can do everything else that you need to do. But it can be challenging because, like I said, I will forget that, oh yeah, I can't run this and this and this all at the same time. I need to prioritize. So that is a fun challenge to deal with. And it also kind of frustrates me because I love drinking black tea and I can't get the kettle to go to the black tea setting, which is like 195 degrees, without pretty much everything in the house being off. Part of me thinks that I didn't notice this problem at the beginning because when I moved into the RV, it was still chilly outside. I don't want to say cold because this is Florida. It doesn't get that cold. But the weather was nice and chilly because it was fall and winter or whatever. So I was able to have the windows open, or I didn't have to have the AC on all the time. Versus now, it's the height of summer. It's hot as blazes outside. So yeah, the AC is running continuously at a decent temperature, but then that means that anything else that I'm trying to use, it goes, no, you're doing too much. We're gonna shut that off. All right, so on to cleaning day. Because this is a small space, I've noticed that you just can't have something for every little thing that you need. So this is a 2-in-1 mop and vacuum. It's marketed for wood floors, which is exactly what is in the RV, or at least wood aesthetic floors. And it also vacuums, so then that way I'm able to vacuum up any, particles of dirt and litter that ends up on the floor. But also I can get all of Mr. Man's fur up because even though I brush him, and not as often as I probably should brush him, there's always fur floating around or coating the rug because he flops around on it all the time. So I use that along with the hot water and vinegar citrus solution, a little bit of pet care Febreze, and this is, I think, when the power kicks off. You'll see it happen in a second here. There we go. So, this is when I have to go open the panel, and then there's the two toggles at the very, very top. I have to make sure they're both flipped all the way to the left, and then I flip them at the same time towards the right, and then everything's back on, and I can go back to cleaning and doing what I need to do. So in this case, it's desanitizing my kitchen sponge, declogging the kitchen drain, declogging the bathroom sink, and declogging the shower drain. And then I vacuum / mop all the floor and go over the rugs with the pet care spray as well, because it's an in-between day. Sorry, someone decided that they're going to come cut the yard right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it, and it's very distracting. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so so I lost all train of thought. Yeah, so it's in between wash days, so I don't want to have to go wash the rugs every week like I do the rest of my laundry. So instead I just spray it with the pet care Febreze, and then I don't know if you can see how hot the water is from the hot water that's coming out, but it is boilingly hot, which is sometimes very useful and sometimes very painful when I forget that I need to turn on the cold water, either when I'm washing dishes or washing my hands or washing my entire body. Isn't that fun? So after declogging the shower drain, I'm also going to turn on the jet for the sprayer so I can just clean everything off the walls, like hair, anything like that, because I can't stand when I get in the shower and there's just like little curly cues all over the place. I'm also very happy because I just replaced my shower head. I found one that was marketed for an RV, and it has an adjustable tilting head as well as different pressure point settings. The one that I had before was just this basic up and down shower head, and it literally would hit me straight in the face because I couldn't angle it up or down. So I would have to get in the shower almost every day. My hair would get wet because, again, it's shooting me directly in the face, and I'm a pretty tall woman. I think I'm like 5'9.5". So getting this new one is so helpful to me because now I can actually point it upwards if I want to wash my hair, or I can point it down so that it's, you know, hitting my body and not just shooting straight across the shower into the wall and my face trying to waterboard me. All right, anyway, I'm rambling. So here's where I put everything back into place, and everything's fresh and clean. I love how fast the floors actually dry after using this. So since I'm in between wash day for these rugs, I'm just gonna go ahead and spray them with the Pet Care Febreze, just so it's like freshened up a little bit. I usually take these outside and just bang the living you know what out of them to get rid of any like litter clumps that stick. So Jack is using the recycled newspaper litter, and I've been using that ever since his little surgeries because I was like, well, he kept spreading litter dust everywhere, and even though these giant clumps of recycled paper end up all over the floor, I feel like I'd still rather have that than have little pieces of litter granules all over the house. I've been craving some fresh fruit lately, so I've got some plums and some raspberries. There's some granola over that, and then this is a honey yogurt that it's on top of. Then I went for I want to call it a sunset bike ride because I started before the sun went down, and then I just really loved the views that I was seeing while I was going around. I came across like these little areas where people would launch their kayak or canoe or paddleboard from, and unfortunately, even though I thought I got the picture, I guess I moved and it blurred, and I didn't notice that till I got home because I thought it was gonna be such a cool little photo. So yeah, this is towards the end of the video, and I think this is pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode of RV Life, What I Eat in a Week, brought to you by the Janae Collective. Don't forget to like and subscribe in order to get notified of additional content we release every Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Come back and see us again. Bye.